Welcome back to the garden. Today I'm going to be doing some deadheading just to keep the plants flowering. Some of them are looking a little bit untidy, so just going to take these back, and it just keeps the plant not only looking tidy but also promotes more flowering. So this Salvia caradonna it's been flowering its head off now for quite a while, but it just needs a bit of rejuvenation by taking out these old flowering stems. There are some little side shoots already appearing here, so that will just encourage those to come up, and within a few weeks they'll look exactly like these flowers here. So we're now moving on to Geranium sanguineum album, and this gorgeous plant with the lovely white flowers. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it because it's just been flowering for ages and ages, and I just keep coming out and deadheading. Either Paul or I come out and just take the deadheads off, and it just keeps it flowering. That's the thing with geraniums like this. You just keep deadheading and the flowers just keep coming. So I try and take as many of these off as possible, and there's just a few more. And it really is a lovely plant, this. I recommend this to anybody that's not got it already. Beautiful plant, lovely white flowers, and it just keeps going and going. So I really do recommend it. Take that one off because it looks like it's about to go over. And just these few here. Being careful not to snip off any new buds. And look at that, that looks better already. That's fantastic. So this beautiful pink geranium here is one that we've actually grown before. We've had this when we lived in Sheffield. We had this one for years and years. This was already in the garden when we came here into this house, but obviously this needs a lot of work because there's so many deadheads on it. And remember, what I'm doing by doing this is I'm saying to the plant, keep on going, keep on flowering, and encouraging it not to produce seed, because that's the last thing we want. We don't want to just leave the plant, leave the flowers, let them go over, let the plant think, well, I'm going to go to seed now, and then that's it. We'll not get any more flowers. So by doing this, if you keep on top of it, you keep coming out, come out daily, just do a bit, and it's so relaxing as well. That's the thing. I always find deadheading relaxing. To be honest with you, the last few weeks it's been lacking. We've been busy with other things, and I've not been out into the garden doing what I usually do, which is walking around. And my favourite things to deadhead are the geraniums as well, by the way. But they need to be done, and if you keep doing this, you'll get flowers right through the summer and onwards, literally, especially with geraniums. In the case of this geranium anyway, it'll just keep going and going. And this is, if you do this, it's going to make a huge difference. You're going to end up with flowers continually throughout the season. So as I say, the last few weeks I've not been doing it as much, and it shows. So if I keep on top of this now, the plant will thank me for it and produce some really beautiful flowers. Just being careful not to snip any new buds off as I'm doing this. Put them all into the bucket. And already this is looking so much better. Secateurs are a little blunt, but we'll soon sharpen those up later. Just makes a huge difference to the plant, and it just looks so much better for it. It really does. And one of the things that I find doing this is, as I've said, you know, it's just so relaxing. Such a relaxing thing to do. Deadheading, you can take yourself off out into the garden, and before you know it, 20 minutes, an hour and a half has gone by, and you've just been deadheading plants, and you just feel so relaxed when you come back in. So yeah, that's certainly a reason why I like to deadhead. So on the Lichnis coronaria here, I'm just looking for any dead flowers, and I'm going to take these out as well. Now this is a plant that I know from a long time ago. We used to have this in the garden at home when I was a child. So this is something that I know a little bit about. But what I like to do is just take these off. I'll have to sharpen these secateurs later. And it just makes a huge difference to the plant, and just again keeps it flowering. Keeps it flowering. But this is such a gorgeous plant, and one that certainly anybody should grow if you've got a sunny border. It will be perfect in any garden. It's funny because 1 minute things are, you know, the plant comes along, it starts to flower, it looks great, and you're enjoying the flowers, and then all of a sudden you come back a few weeks later, and literally there's deadheading to be done, there's flowers that are spent, and it's something to it's really worth keeping your eye on every day, really, if you can, if you've got time. I mean, even when you're coming from work, you come in from work, have 20 minutes out in the garden. You know, you don't have to spend forever outside, but literally come outside in the garden. Helps you to unwind after a busy day, and just look for any tidying up that needs to be done. So in this case today, I'm on a deadheading mission. This Centranthus is beautiful. Flowers are lovely. It's in the perfect position here. It's adding some height to all these rocks, so it's creating real interest. But because it's a prolific self-seeder, we really need to take this back, because the last thing that we want, we're happy with the plant where it already is, the last thing we want to happen is for it to self-seed all over this area. That's the very last thing we want. So what I'm going to do is take these old stems back, and so any that have been spent already, I'm going to take off. I'm even going to take this one off simply because it's coming to an end, and again, the last thing I want is for it to self-seed all over the place, because that wouldn't be very good. It's a nice plant in the right place, but if we let it self-seed, and the last thing we want is a rockery filled with Centranthus. And that looks so much better already. So here we have Digitalis, which has just almost finished flowering. We've got some seed that's actually ripe along the bottom here. So what we need to do is take this stem out, because the last thing that we want here is for this to self-seed and, you know, end up with just Digitalis heaven everywhere. So we like Digitalis, but obviously in this area, because it's so small, it's going to be controlled. So we have some more plants here that will come up next year. They will flower next year. And what I'm going to do now is take this stem away. So what I'll do now, very, very careful, I've got to be so careful with this, because the last thing I want to do is snip this, end up pulling it away and for seed to just disperse everywhere. That's the last thing I want, so I'm going to try and be really careful. Paul will laugh at this because this is Andrew trying to be careful. So let's see. So just take that Sata here and carry that across very carefully, because it's fine at the top. It's along here, the seed really is ready. So because I've literally snipped it off there, straight into the bucket, we've got no problem. So the last thing I've got to do in terms of deadheading is take this rose back. Now this rose is quite new. It's very spindly at the moment. Obviously it'll put on new growth, and by next year it will be absolutely amazing. But it's flowered, she's flowered a little head off, but now obviously it's ready to be deadheaded. So I'm going to take these back, and I'm going to go back on this. I'm going to be quite harsh in many ways because of the growth, and I want to encourage lots of lovely new growth, but because of the way that it's growing, I need to be a little bit harsh with it. So I'll take that back just to here like that. And then, even though this is tied up, I'm going to do the same with this one as well. And this is just to, because we'll get lots more growth on here, and then we can train that back up against the fence. So I'll take that off later. I'll just focus on cutting back at the moment. So just take these stems back like that, and the same for this one as well. There are quite a few flowers still on, but obviously most of the petals are dropping, and it really is time to focus on trying to get some growth onto the bush, so that next year it's stronger, it's happier, it's healthier, and it enjoys its new space. I mean, look at this here. If you look at this, it's just very spindly growth, and it was trailing literally along the concrete base of the fence there. So it's serving no purpose. What I need to do is really get in there and take this back, encourage lots more growth. So let's have a look here. So let's see where we're up to. So we've got a nice new shoot coming off there, so I'll take that back to that point. See that little bit of growth there coming off. And let's take that back. And then another one, well, another two actually, trailing along the floor there. So we'll take those right back. In fact, I'm going to take this down a little further, just to there. And there you have it. That looks so much better. Oh, there's another piece here. That's coming from the back. So. There you go. That looks already so much better. Now on that one, I'm going to take this back as well there. I think that looks so much better. And ultimately, The rose is going to thank me for this. And we'll just encourage lots of new growth here. We'll give it a feed. We'll encourage lots of lovely new growth, and then these stems will become thicker and the plant will be able to support itself a lot better. It's only new, it's early days, it's not been in very long, so in time it'll settle in. But especially now we've got rid of the flowers, or the spent flowers, it will be able to rejuvenate itself and strengthen up.